Friend complained that they couldn't play games due to lack of RAM, revealed horrifying truth about their browser's condition, by user Astronius Maximus. I don't work in tech support, but I am knowledgeable on troubleshooting, especially when it comes to software issues. I often help friends with PC issues in a Telegram group I am in. Today, we were all discussing playing a game as a group, and someone mentioned that they can't play the game because it crashes/freezes at random. I immediately jumped at the opportunity to help, and the conversation more or less went as follows. Me, how much RAM do you have? Friend, I have 16 GB. Me, how much does the game use? Friend, I allocated it 2 GB. But most of the RAM is taken up by Chrome. At this point, I'm confused. Yeah, Chrome is kinda notorious for eating up RAM, but there's no way it is using up nearly 16 GB of it. Nonetheless, I state the obvious. Me, then close Chrome when you play the game. Force close it in Task Manager. Friend, I don't want to do that, it takes forever to start Chrome up again. Obviously, it won't take that long to start Chrome again, so I'm confused. I let some other friends to some tech support talking for a bit, and then the friend reveals the actual problem. Friend, I have 1850 tabs open. Me realizing what the real problem is, why do you have so many tabs open? Them, I've just done it for so long that I'm used to it. Another person, dude, close some of them. Friend, I don't want to, and I don't want to bookmark them because that will take forever. At this point I gave up and told them you know the problem, and the solution to the problem. I can't help if you don't want to fix it and moved on. I knew their claim that it would take too long to restart the browser was bogus at this point, since they were never going to close it to begin with. I will never understand how people can know the problem and the solution to it, but still decide to ask for help, knowing full well that they will never fix it anyway. The Mystery 911 Caller, by Userdelborn. So today started off normal, until my boss called me and says the police have been trying to reach us about some 911 hangs that came in, and when they called the number back it went to a fax machine. First red flag, our emergency notification system didn't have record of any 911 calls placed that day. Second red flag, 911 and fax should never be in the same sentence. Thirdly, I don't even recognize the number they are referencing. So that's weird. I tried calling the number on the router's POTS line and it dialed through just fine, got voicemail, but not a fax machine. Had a local user place a test call and confirm the call came from us, so the number is ours. Guess I should add more 911 info to our system documentation. I took over when previous guy left, no telephony experience. There are still a lot of new to me things that creep up. Ended up calling 911. Service center supervisor confirmed the test calls we made matched the earlier hang-ups, then he played a recording where I got more info. I think there was a miscommunication. The cop didn't say he got a fax machine when he called the number, he tried to say it sounded like it was a fax machine that placed the 911 call. The machine called once, couldn't handshake, then tried again after a couple minutes. So 2 calls to 911 20 seconds long waiting for a handshake. Oof. So now I'm back to trying to figure out someone in our office managed to hook a fax machine up to our router. It would require going into the closet and unplugging the line from the router into a fax machine. So, yeah, that didn't happen. I considered aliens for a second, but also, not likely. It was at this time I finally came around to pulling up the timestamp of the original call in real-time monitoring tool, Cisco, where I finally saw the extension that placed the offending calls, an extension belonging to a fax endpoint. At a different office, in an area serviced by a different 911 service center. Looked up the endpoint settings, the calling search space was set to the first building, hence the routing through that office. After talking to users, this fax used to be in building A, but was moved to building B, search space never updated. The end user to place the fax did so using network fax printer queue, so they were trying to long-distance fax, prefix with 2 ones, and didn't verify before clicking OK, they had no idea they told the machine to call 911. Updated the call space, so at least if user errors again, the call will ID to the right building. Secondly though, had to address why no one was picking up the cops, or my calls to site A, looked around, the call is routing to an active endpoint, but the office staff don't hear anything routing, updated call manager to route to someone who will actually answer their phone. While this situation can't happen again, I still don't know why my notification system didn't report the 911 calls made from the fax machine but reported the other test calls just fine. This is the only time I can remember a call not reporting since we implemented the notification system. But that's tomorrow's problem. So all's well that ends well. Cop and 911 supervisor were understanding and pleasant to speak to, so that's something. The laptop was too dirty to show to IT for repair, so he made it even dirtier and then gave it to IT, by user affectionate Efig 9277. I am posting on behalf of my friend, A. A isn't an IT worker but they work in an accounting firm, and this awfulness happened to the poor IT worker there. A's supervisor, K, has a company laptop. This laptop decided to die in the middle of the workday. Just out of nowhere zoop, black screen. Charger LED was also not turning on anymore, so K decided he needed to bring it to IT. However, because his laptop was so dirty, he felt he should clean it up a bit because otherwise, IT would blame him for the laptop breaking during use. It wasn't as bad as some of the nightmares we've all seen, but it was covered with dust, streaks, pet hair, etc. And obviously it was definitely his fault the laptop wasn't working anymore, as he clearly didn't take care of it. A watched as their sub cleaned his laptop using paper tissues and his own spit. And then he hands it to IT. A has a new trick, by user aggravating _._5217. Hiya. Not sure if this belongs in this sub but here goes. As I have said before I have a real A as a boss but to add to everything he claims to be very intelligent but I have yet to see any sign of it. A has made many a mention in this sub. One of my tasks is to teach him how to use the new CRM that we have obtained. He also wants his own special dashboard to show specific metrics. From my side no problem. I create his dashboard and get an email asking me to explain in minuscule detail what each metric means and why they differ. There is a graph that was created to show various leads and who captured them and when. Not a difficult thing to understand. Send me an email asking how many leads were created in a certain week. Not difficult. Look at the graph, place your mouse over the key and it will show a dynamic result. I prepared a response explaining how to put the mouse over the different parts of the mouse, what each response will be. Then I got another email asking question, that if I didn't know better would have thought came from a kindergartner. I then took the first email response and asked an AI how would I answer the question if it was a little child. Here is the response. Imagine we have a colorful calendar that shows how many leads we get each week. Each week has a different color, just like your crayons. Week 49 is special because it's red, like your favorite fire truck. If you look at the calendar, you might see 2 red blocks. Those blocks show how many leads we got during that week. It's like counting how many toys you got for your birthday. To see how many leads we got from each part of the school, you can hover your mouse over the colored blocks, just like pretending to fly over the calendar. This will highlight the blocks for that week, making it easier to see. And if you want to know more about a specific part of the school, you can click on it. This will open a special box, like a treasure chest, that tells you exactly how many leads we got from that part each week. It's like counting all the different toys you got from your friends and family. So, the colorful calendar helps us see how many leads we get each week and where they come from. It's like having a special tool to understand how our school is growing, just like you grow taller each year. My dilemma. Send this or not.